More of the same this year. OK, let's hear from the Scarlets Director of Rugby, Gareth Jenkins. He's talking to Graham Simmons.
Gareth, in your long and illustrious history at this club, there is not much that this team has not done. You've beaten the All Blacks here, you've beaten Australia here, you've won domestic pots and trophies, the Heineken Cup. How big of an itch is that?
Well, it is the one that's eluded us. It's the one that we've come too close to, and yet haven't got it in the cupboard. So it's a dream of mine. It's a desire really of the clubs, and it's really a focus of a couple of our senior players as well.
The premium, as you will well know, Gareth, in this competition is win your home games. Bookmakers say that you will win it tonight by 5 to 8 points. Does that sound about right to you?
Well, time will tell. But you are right. It is about being able to dominate your home environment. It is about making a fortress of your home ground, and we have to do that. The pressure is on us tonight, not on Northampton. Northampton can come here a little bit relaxed, which is dangerous. They can come here maybe realising that if they don't win, it doesn't matter. But if they do win, they've got something to look out for. We have to win. So we're feeling a bit of pressure, to be honest.
Good luck to you anyway. Enjoy the pressure. Do well. Thanks for your time,
Very much.
I'm sure he will. OK, let's hear from Nigel Redman. He's with us again tonight, a European Cup winner himself, of course, with Bath. Nigel, you must have some fond memories of this place.
Simon, I've got some fantastic memories of playing down at Stradey Park. It's one of the best grounds in the world. It's nice and tight. You know, we used to play for a rag doll when we used to play Bath down here against Llanelli. This afternoon, the stakes are much higher, and it doesn't come much higher than Wales versus England.
Nigel will be analysing things for us this evening down on the front line. He was talking about Wales, England, but there's a few New Zealanders in this Saints lineup and a few key matchups as well, in particular Quinnell against Blowers, Dowie.
That's going to be the big match I'm looking forward to, relishing. It's going to be the hard yards. You know, the wingers can score the tries, the fly-offs will spin the ball. It's these two guys. I said at the start of the show, Quinnell is a big match player. You know exactly, he gets that ball, he will drive forward. Andrew Blowers consistently, week after week, almost year after year for Northampton, the best signing, one of the best signings ever made. He is outstanding. He tackles over 20 tackles a game, and he just puts his body on the line every time. So that is going to be crucial, and that will make a big mark to who wins this game.
Michael, what about that fly half, Stephen Jones against Shane Drum?
Yeah, fascinating matchup. Two guys that have really been... Well, Shane Drum can win matches for you. He's a brilliant player, but also can fall in a heap every now and then. This year he's been very good. His goal kicking's been outstanding. Stephen Jones had a wonderful World Cup. He did things that people didn't think he could do. So once again, like Blowers and Quinnell,
absolutely,
these two, whoever comes out on top there, could have a big say in who wins this match.
Jonathan, what about the importance of the front five battle this evening down here?
It's massive for Llanelli. It's an area where Northampton have struggled this year. You know, you can put pressure on the scrum, and you definitely can pressurise their line-out. And with Chris Wyatt, who does study the line-out very well, and is very, very good defensively, I think they could squeeze them up front.
It is a cold night here at Stradey Park, but they will be squeezing them in. You can bet your bottom dollar there. 10,600 is the capacity, full to bursting. At least it's getting that way, Dowie. Should be a fiery encounter. You expecting that?
Nothing else. It will be definitely fiery. Gareth Jenkins said it. It is so crucial in this competition to win your home games. They know that. Their record down here is outstanding in the European Cup, and they know they can't slip up tonight. So I will go with a Llanelli victory tonight, just.
You're going with a Llanelli victory?
I'm going to go with the Scarlets.
What about yourself, Jonathan?
Yeah, I think Llanelli have got enough power up front to sneak it.
OK, 5 to 8 points is the spread. Michael, finally from yourself.
I'll go for an upset. I'll go with Northampton.
Please go for Northampton. Coming from an Aussie, that's very nice as well. All right, guys, so here we go. The start of the Heineken Cup 2003. The first of 6 games you can see this weekend on Sky Sports. By the end of the weekend, your eyes should be oval. Your match commentators tonight, Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
The only club competition in the world where over 200 internationals can go straight into action, having been involved in a World Cup. And with that trophy, having come to the Northern Hemisphere for the first time, maybe it is time for everybody in this part of the world to say the Super 12 is the Southern Hemisphere's version of the Heineken Cup and not the other way round.
Point Gareth Jenkins has been making all week, and I think you're both right. The intensity and physicality of the Heineken Cup probably prepares players better than Super 12 for Test rugby, but today has nothing to do with development. It's about pure tribalism. Rugby does not get more tribal than here at Stradey Park.
And Northampton leaving the familiar surroundings of the English Premiership to embark on another European journey. And behind all the talk of the positive impact of England's World Cup victory, they arrive here in Wales knowing that the downside is that the English scalp will be an even more prized possession, country or club. And of course, a score to settle here as well after Llanelli's defeat to Northampton in the semi-final 3 years ago. A last-minute penalty from Paul Grayson on that day. Here's Mick Beale leading out the side, one of the co-captains of Northampton. The other is Andrew Blowers, and what a battle that is going to be. Blowers against Quinnell. A cold night in Wales, but this is one of the best winter warmers I can think of. The Heineken Cup is back. And Wayne Smith felt that Matt Dawson needed one more week after the World Cup. But Mark Robinson at number 9 has proved his value this season. England's Cohen does start, though, on the wing. Leslie is injured in the centre, so youngsters Tucker and Heineman combine. In the pack, Smith also feels that it would have been harsh on hooker Dan Richmond to bring another World Cup winger, Steve Thompson, straight back in. Matt Lord, the lock, is out for 2 to 3 months, so it's the 31-year-olds, Phillips and Hunter, in the second row.
Well, Bruce Rayhana switches wings to accommodate World Cup left winger Ben Cohen, but expect Rayhana to pop up all over the place. He is the fluid element to the Saints' back line.
This is a world-renowned rugby venue, oozing history. Gareth Jenkins played in the match, that match, against the All Blacks, the 72-73 All Blacks. But it's recent European history which plays on the minds of Jenkins and his coaching team of Nigel Davis and Paul Moriarty. Those near misses in the semi-finals. And last season, when, after an excellent run of form in the group, eventual finalist Perpignan won here. A desperately disappointing day at Stradey. Going out at the quarter-final stage, it simply wasn't in the script. They expected to win. But they are tougher, they are smarter a year on. Can the Scarlets break down the barrier to the final?
Well, the man talking there, Ray Gravel, one of the great legends of Stradey rugby, one of the legends of Welsh rugby. He played here in '72 when Llanelli beat the All Blacks. They will be up for this one.
No Lee Davis or Mark Jones with the Scarlets back line, but they are the only injuries. They're picking from vertical strength. And listen to the roar that greets them. It all starts here. Stephen Jones, key man tonight. So too, that man, Scott Quinnell. He will be relishing this contest against Blowers, so impressive in the English Premiership. There's the Scarlets lineup. The experienced international Mark Taylor makes his debut in a backline with internationals from 9 to 14. Barry Davis, the fullback, the odd one out, but his form in the Celtic League as good as anybody in this side. All the pack have a cap to. Thomas, McBride, Davis, solid front row. Cooper skippers alongside Wyatt at lock. And what a meaty back row. Jones and Quinnell of Wales, easterly of Ireland.
Well, as ever, Scott Quinnell is likely to be central to Stradey Park on a dramatic night. But even more crucial might be Stephen Jones. If he can repeat the attacking variety of his World Cup form, he could spark the home team three-quarters tonight.
Our referee is David McHugh, who is only the second man to take charge of a Heineken Cup final on 2 occasions. The second man to do that. We should look at the bench, and here we are. The Scarlets have Ian Bubia back in their squad. And of course, for the Saints, Steve Thompson, now a World Cup winner, and like Paul Grayson, back from Australia with a Golden Glow. So just to reiterate on Mr. McHugh, 2 European finals, the only man to do that, 1996, the first one he took charge of, and here we go. Plenty of teams involved this year, so they have a realistic chance of winning this competition. It's one of the beauties of it. The quest to be king of Europe wide open again, and you can see the pressure put on Dram of Northampton as he gets his first kick into touch, and there will be very little space for the fly halves.
Well, it's going to be a physical evening. I tell you, I'd looked at Northampton. They walked around this pitch an hour before kickoff, and there was fire in their eyes. It's a cold night, but it is going to be very hot up front. What a battle it's going to be between these packs.
McBride throws, and that's down from Cooper to Peel to Jones. They've got Matthew Watkins in midfield, and he's broken the first tackle. Good run from him. In goes Peel again, and they'll use Celesi Finau in exactly that role. The basher, the Tongan international. Northampton on the back foot here. In goes Peel again. Jones, it's a fiery start. Watkins has some more space, and he's using his strength so well in the centre as Matthew Watkins. It's a knock on, and they had a chance to move it wide. They had an overlap on the right, and the Scarlets have come out of the traps, and they are meaning business. And Matthew Watkins setting the trend.
Good ball from Cooper. Look how flat Stephen Jones is. That's his World Cup form. He's taking Fox out of the game, and that's helping Watkins get straight over the gain line. If they get across the gain line, the Scarlets forwards are going to be dangerous.
Good service from Robinson to Beale. And Nick Beale, his club's player of the year last season, after 11 years at the club, with that touch find.
Exposed a little bit at Gloucester last Saturday, where Simpson, Daniel and Trevor Woodman beat him in a variety of ways for scores. He will be expecting better cover from his defence.
Chris White waits in the line-out, very talented player, of course. This time he's the lifter as Jones came forward.
Hands away, Red, stay.
Back with Northampton, didn't quite get that one right. The Scarlets, and Rayhana will chase this high kick. Finau can't make the catch. Back goes Peel. They'll have to scurry here. 21 years of age, Dwayne Peel, already 25 caps. He's crammed a lot into his youthful career, and it's away from Barry Davis, the fullback. Big left boot, and it served him well there.
Well, it's very important for the Scarlets tonight. They've got a good balance to their kicking game. Stephen Jones, of course, is the right-footed kicker. Barry Davis, very, very good with his left foot. A composed player. Keep an eye on him tonight.
Richmond, the man who's keeping out Thompson, the World Cup winning hooker for England. But Richmond has been in good form, and that was a fine throw to the centre of the line-out. Scott Quinnell calling to his players to come back, rejoin this maul, and they've turned it over. And a pat on the head there from Cooper, the captain, to Quinnell. He was the boss.
Yeah, that was interesting, because I tell you, the two men with their mitts on the ball then were Andrew Blowers and Scott Quinnell. And it was the Ursine qualities of Quinnell that came out on top that time. He is so fundamental to the Scarlets at home. There you can see a big, beefy Welsh pack.
Peel puts one high on Rayhana, and it hasn't got long. Back to Beale. Encouraged to counter, Davis. Cries of a late challenge there. Shane Dram to Ben Cohen, and this should be Finau's. Quinnell leaves it to the winger. And there goes the Tongan again. They were waiting for in that time. They'll have to be quickly onto him. Stephen Jones trying to release those backs. This is Mark Taylor in his first game for the Scarlets.
They have a penalty, so will they take the advantage here?
Jones going for the handoff. Did well to carry the ball there. Easton Thomas was helping out. Still the referee playing the advantage and checking the offside line for Northampton. And it's gone wide now to Gareth Evans. Well, they're mixing the game up.
Well, I know before the game Northampton were hoping that they believe there's an extra intensity to the Zurich Premiership over the Celtic League, and whilst Llanelli haven't got into the European stride, they thought they might have a physical edge. But at the moment the Scarlets are getting good ball, and they're really mixing their game well. Nice distribution from Peel and Jones. and good possession. Now McBride, like Stephen Jones, had a good World Cup. He's got to find his man here. He's got jumpers.
He's gone to the tail, he's found Easterby, and that is a good peel round from the Llanelli pack. Peel again to Jones. This is Taylor cutting back on the crash ball, and once more the Scarlet midfield evading the first tackle. Little dummy from Peel, needs support, gets it from Wyatt. Wyatt to drive for the line. So close, a couple of metres short. Calling for reinforcements on that far side, the Saints.
Hands off, Green.
Dwayne Peel, who started this move, is trying to dig that ball out now. They have a rumble on, and they score! First try for the Scarlets. And Scott Quinnell. And Straddy goes wild like Straddy can.
Well, it wasn't the bravest call to say Scott Quinnell would be central to the drama tonight, but it's the little man Dwayne Peel who makes that with a lovely dart. Wyatt, who's looking hungry for action in, and then Quinnell. 2001, the Wallabies couldn't stop him from this range, and Northampton certainly cannot. Muscle and power. Sharky Robinson, the All Black scrum half, has no hope, and Llanelli are out of these traps and rattling along.
Stephen Jones with the conversion. And the flag stay down. He's been working hard on his kicking since he came back from the World Cup. Missed those kicks against England. Good at the end, have proved costly. Unusual misses against England. Couldn't quite believe them.
Well, that's a poor kick from Stephen Jones. His all-round game has started excellently, but that's a mystifying miss. Almost like his left foot slid away there. It is a little bit greasy there.
Bit of a nervous stab too. Looked like a man not totally confident in his kicking rhythm.
Which is really strange because his all-round game has been very, very slick to start. And now you can see his right foot sending Northampton back.
Well, that's a long, long kick from Jones in behind Cohen. Of course, remembered for his Shane Who comments in Wales, Ben Cohen.
Well, it looks like Wyatt's done a hamstring, you know.
This is Davis going over the top with a chip, and there's a knock on, and there's no point arguing about it from a Northampton perspective. Seeley stood there having a word with the referee, but the ball had gone forward, and in the end Northampton
Number one's in front.
get a penalty for obstruction from Thomas, and they'll be relieved to get that. And you can see there Wyatt hobbling away.
Well, I can only hope that he's twisted an ankle. The way he just shot there, it was a sort of the look of a hamstring, but with a bit of luck, well, I say with a bit of luck, it's not muscular. It's a cold night, and these players are going to have to worry about that. But I think he might just have turned an ankle, twisted a knee or something. Will be a bonus for the Scarlets if he stays on, because he's had a good start.
Just going back to Ben Cohen, who knows who Shane Williams is now, and Wales have continued to look to the likes of Williams post-World Cup to give them a lift. And there's a man that has played many a time for Wales. Got a call to the World Cup. Didn't start once he went out there, having initially been left out of the squad. But there is a feel-good factor here as well, isn't there? All this talk about in England, but Wales, of course, lifted by the performance against New Zealand and against England, which it was the style of play that everyone enjoyed.
Yeah, well, England have achieved the Rugby Everest. They're the world champions. But Wales, they started making the ascent up the mountain, and they've been in the valleys for a long time. They're going forwards now, and they've got a penalty.
It's exactly the same reason for the previous penalty in the match. It's obstruction. And David McHugh.
Here we go.
He's got plenty of experience, 24 Heineken Cup matches. He's got the most to his name. Just back from the World Cup himself, the Irishman.
And now you can see it's Barry Davies with his left foot driving this ball deep. And that is well taken by Cohen.
So important to find the touch there. The throw-in would have been to the Scarlets. Handoff from Nick Beale, almost up to halfway. Draw.
Center, 7, you're offside. 7, stop.
Evans having to go back, a warning for an offside there against Fox. Here's Davis again. And Rohana is covering and takes a comfortable catch in his stride. And then hits the accelerator, but also finds touch.
Never going to go outside Finau there. Barry Davis had better be careful. Those diagonal raking kicks had better not land in Rohana's hand too often, but Finau's defence excellent there.
McBride and Cooper had to make the most of that. He did really well, the skipper. But Northampton will be happy with that result. And Mark Robinson, the scrum half, shouts his encouragement, claps his hands as well, and a bit of a twitch there from McBride.
That's pretty muscular work from the Saints pack, wasn't it? It was a good line-out, first of all, from McBride and Cooper, but Northampton just shoved them into touch, and they've got good territory here.
Great record here, Llanelli, in this competition, just 3 defeats at home. In the Celtic League this season, just nestling in behind Ulster as Chris Wyatt has more problems. Adam Jones is the replacement in the second row. Ex-Cardiff man, signed in the summer. The Scarlets Celtic League record, 7-1, 2 defeats, including a very important win last week against Glasgow, which enabled some of the stars to return from the World Cup and gel back into the setup.
And here at Stradey they feel importantly developing their game. But here's a blow. It's not a hamstring, but Chris Wyatt, unfortunate, landed awkwardly, and that's a loss. Adam Jones on, but a big loss out Chris Wyatt.
Picked up by Richmond.
Hands away, Ray.
Robinson to Drum. First time to see the Northampton centres in attack. That was Tucker who took the ball into contact.
Back on side now, Eddie.
Still with the Saints, Tom Smith.
Stay on your feet.
Hunter has a go. This is good work from the Northampton forwards. Mark Robinson, it'll slip out the back of the hand. But the Scarlets moving up en masse. Good defensive work, staying on side and getting their reward, which is a penalty, but holding on after the tackle had been made.
I just feel Northampton went wide a little too early there. Some good pick and drive. When they went wide, the passing wasn't good, and Llanelli just came forward in defence. And this time, Davis makes no mistake, and he drives the Saints back into their own half. Good start to the game.
Okay, guys, now come on.
That semi-final 3 years ago, just 3 points between them in the end. Llanelli, as they were then, now the Llanelli Scarlets, of course, really felt they should have closed out the game. They didn't have the, I don't know, nerve or
the mental
guile, mental capacity.
The mental bravery to go and take it.
Same happened again in Nottingham in the semi-final against Leicester.
Yeah, and that's what's encouraging for them, though. Stephen Jones showed either the capacity I didn't know whether he had in the World Cup. He's got to go through with it now. Again, it's good ball from the Scarlets pack.
And McBride right back on the money there. Easterby helping out at the tail, and now, just as Northampton were doing moments ago, it's the Scarlets forwards looking impressive. Great contest up front, isn't it? Stephen Jones. Now it's the long cut-out pass to Davis. Darren Evans has come right across from the right wing. It's going to be the extra man, never came from Stephen Jones again. Long floated ball to Scott Quinnell, the try scorer. That's the difference between the two teams. In goes Peel, who's had a sparky start. Stephen Jones once more challenging on that gain line. It's another penalty for holding on. They seem to be evening out the penalties for the same offensive, one to each.
The defences are getting there pretty quickly and closing off the ball carrier. But again, Peel's looking very perky at the moment. Nice angles with Stephen Jones.
He's got a great fight, hasn't he, with Gareth Cooper for the international jersey. He's got a fight here as well, Dwayne Peel, with young Michael Phillips, who's caught the eye over recent times. But Peel at the moment, the man in possession of that number 9 jersey, and you can see why on the evidence of tonight's first 15 minutes in the Heineken Cup. One other game being played this evening, Celtic Warriors against Calvisano. We'll keep you in touch with that.
The Warriors will be hoping to start that one with a win.
That really is a must-win for the Warriors. They actually had the privilege of starting the competition 7-15 they got underway. Back with the Scarlets here. And a good long pass and a good steal from the Scarlets pack. You can see what the intention was to get it out to the back. Didn't quite work. And Stephen Jones settles again for the kick towards touch, but it's not found, that touch. And it's Nick Beale to Cohen. It's tight on that far side, and Peel has to make a good tackle on Heineken.
Stay. Offside, advantage midfield.
Referee playing advantage again here to Northampton for offside that time against the Llanelli Scarlets. And there's the penalty. And it's very kickable. They'll be called back. Davies hasn't heard the whistle. He has now. So what about that other game? We've got half an hour on us. Let's see what's happening. Oh, a start in pool 6.
10, please.
Well, I know it's a new region. Celtic Warriors, for those not familiar, of course, predominantly Bridgend and Pontypridd, and they've got an awful lot of Welsh stars from the World Cup. And Calvisano are exceeding themselves there. I think the bookmakers had this one as a 34-point win for the home team, and wouldn't it be great for the game, if not for the Warriors, if the Italian teams had an impact this year?
What do you mean you think?
Well, I know.
You jolly well know what the bookmakers have on every match. Shane Drum.
Odds will be short on this one, won't they? Shane Drum has been a kicking machine in the Zurich. He hasn't missed many like this.
The leading point scorer in the Zurich Premiership then, Shane Drum. Playing with Bristol in last season's competition. He's going to try against Montferrand. It's all about kicking here for Drum. And getting his side on the board. Which he does. The former Queensland man. Northampton's first 3 points of the night.
Well, Drum is not the most illustrious Queensland fly half on display here at Stradey tonight. That honour goes to our man in the studio, Michael Liner, but I'll tell you, there is not a better fly half in the English Premiership this season. He's having a tremendous season.
Oh, that's a bad drop. Right in front of the referee, and the main stand here from Darren Fox. Puts Llanelli straight back in the driving seat.
Not the first time Fox has fumbled a restart, and this is a dangerous position here because the Llanelli backs have looked very sharp. 30 metres out. Good solid scrum.
Well, through the legs from Quinnell to Peel. Now it's Davis. Back inside to Peel. Got the hands! And some desperate tackling. Advantage play, but of course not to Llanelli after the ball had gone forward in the tackle. Northampton to put into this scrum. Mighty close. Went for the blind side and it nearly worked. It was Quinnell's call and his flick.
It was beautiful work on the scrum. Llanelli had the put in there. Now they've made the knock on. Do they have the muscle? With plenty of subtlety on their own ball. John Davis and Justin Thomas are going to attack Tom Smith and Robbie Morris. Big scrum.
When you're ready, and engage.
And the referee sides with Northampton.
He's come right in across him.
A drive straight forward, and the referee said going in across.
Such an irritating penalty to give away for the coaching staff, because at the very least you've got the opposition in the corner, they're kicking under pressure, they're giving the ball away. Now they're 35 metres upfield, the banana kick of Shane Drum, and Northampton have possession. And now you can see Llanelli coming away with points. Northampton not doing a lot of damage in the red zone, but Drum will kick points.
Stay back.
Good throw from Richmond, all kinds of shenanigans there at that line-out. Players moving all over the place. They could be well to concentrate, but it's turned over. And look at Quinnell. Back slapping of the highest order from Quinnell. He's fired up, his team are fired up, and Quinnell has been setting the standard tonight, no doubt about that.
I remember his performance in defeat at Melbourne, second test for the Lions, 2001. He was absolutely fantastic, and he's just leading his team tonight.
No, he's not stepping.
Some players just lead by example. He's one of them, and really the axis between him and Dwayne Peele has been very slick so far.
And engage.
I just wonder how many big games Scott Quinnell's got left in the locker. He's identified this one as an absolute cracker, and he's off again, is Quinnell, and they're having to work so hard, the Northampton back row, to keep him quiet, and thus far they're failing.
He was in touch first.
Pretty good defence in the end, though, just to usher the big man into touch, but he's varying his game so well. Lots of options from the scrums. We've seen little flicks. This time the pick-up, the acceleration, and then nicking Northampton's ball.
Stay green.
Peele, Jones, Finau know what's coming. Can they do anything about it?
Hands away, green tackler. Hands. Stay.
Peele again. Man comes round. Is he offside? The referee says no. Northampton have stolen it themselves now. Lewis trying to match Quinnell there with a pilfering. High from Davis. It's gone forward. The back of a Northampton hand.
Stay red.
And there's no time for Beale. Hurried into the kick again. Space so quickly swallowed tonight. This is the steal.
Fantastic snaffle there from Andrew Blowers. Dwayne Peele took one pace too many, and he just came like a mantis all over Peele. Didn't see the shadow of the arms coming down and closing down that attack. First strike for Blowers after Quinnell has had the first quarter to himself.
I always thought they were a bit sticky, though, the Mantis. Nothing sticky about him. Plenty of meat there, too. Next, Auckland player, of course. Brace the All Blacks, too.
Just thinking about these two number 8, you know. Andrew Blowers on the one side, Scott Quinnell on the other. What a pity these men weren't playing in the World Cup, because they really are up there with the very best back row forwards playing the game anywhere you want to look. Top class.
And you can make a case that Blowers was the man that New Zealand missed. He was the missing link.
And there's the man who was certainly missed. Jarvis did very well playing there, but he does carry well for Llanelli. He carries well for whoever he plays for.
McBride looking for Adam Jones, but this time it's Northampton. It really is tit for tat at the set piece. And a wonderful forward contest between both sides, and that's an awkward one. It's just not sitting down for Evans.
No, he's in front of the kicker, number 3. If you went out of the game, I wouldn't have blown you.
The referee's given the penalty for the chase. The man in front of the kicker.
Hang on, captain. Penalty here or a scrum back.
Here's Robin McBride having a few problems in the line out. Adam Jones, he's on for Wyatt, and he's beaten to the ball by Grant Seeley there. But Northampton then waste it because the chaser was in front of Shane Drum, and Llanelli get a second bite of the cherry.
And they have a choice. They could have had the penalty from where play ended downfield, or the scrum back from where the ball was kicked. And they take the set piece. Not a great surprise, and a blood injury to Robin McBride. North Walian, of course, and Wrexham is an area where the Scarlets are looking to expand into. They've been given that North Wales, Mid Wales too, and the whole of West Wales to concentrate for their development. It's a big patch, but they've already been up to Wrexham for a game in the Celtic League. They will return again later this season. Alec Gravel Is the young replacement for McBride at hooker. Wales under-21 player, come through the academy here.
Good blindside here for the Scarlets. You can see at the top of your picture Barry Davies and Gareth Evans, very dangerous with Peel's pace. There they go.
Quinnell again.
It's the threat of riposte and then comes the pace. Rapier.
Peel with the kick. And Cohen with the players breathing down his neck. Didn't want the kick himself. Right decision to give it to Beale, and Beale thumps the ball out. Ben Cohen. What a great story that was with Uncle George, of course. A World Cup winner in '66 with the football team. Amazing.
Just give me a gap, guys, and we'll get that fixed.
Well, that was composed enough from Ben Cohen. The kick really didn't give the Llanelli chasers enough time to get to Cohen, and he worked very well with his full-back there. Just sound stuff from the back to Beale and Cohen.
Here comes Stephen Jones again, and then Watkins to Jones, missing out Finau, give it to Taylor. Now it's Davis, he's got Gareth Evans outside, but he rejects and turns inside. Good work from the full-back. It's quick ball as well for Peel to Quinnell. He stands tall in the tackle. John Davis takes it on. Northampton, for the moment, resist. There was good defence and a good alignment from Northampton, but they've given away a penalty. And this gives Stephen Jones the perfect opportunity. Easy kick for him to cancel out the drama effort.
Good lines here. Barry Davis again at full-back, looking very good. Here's the full-back coming very flat. He knows there's no space on the outside. He commits two in. And again, the Scarlets forwards with that man Quinnell there. Rides the tackle, and it's the offload that keeps the momentum going and gives Stephen Jones a chance. Well, surely he must take. He's missed one gimme. No two ways to see it. This is another one that's a sitter at this level.
That's what it remains. A sitter for Stephen Jones. 7 penalty goals in that semi-final against Northampton. He nearly hurt them on that day. Wasn't quite enough. Plus a conversion. Missed his conversion tonight, but did get the penalty, which re-establishes that 5-point lead for the Scarlets. Intriguing match. Thoroughly absorbing.
Played at a cracking pace as well, so there could be some space in the second half.
And played with a test match intensity.
It's good restart work from the Saints.
That's the point of the Heineken Cup, that raising the game onto another level.
Still in, stay on, Red, stay.
Wonderful preparation for the ultimate arena, but a wonderful competition to win in its own right. From a standing start, that was Seeley. Robinson with blowers standing off to do just that. The roll around to Robinson. Cohen just trying to build something here, Northampton.
Just need a bit more depth to their attack. Trying to drive directly here, but it's slow ball still.
Drum. It was easy to be getting down on the floor. He does that really well. Davis. It's not out, it's with Rehana. Chase from Davis, and he makes the tackle. Adam Jones was there too. John Davis helping out. Also the prop.
No advantage.
Referee's given the penalty, and then a little bit of afters on the floor. An experienced John Davis getting back to his feet and being warmed too.
The banana kick from Shane Drum, and once again it's very effective, isn't it? Takes it to the 22. There you can see Davis on the wrong side, and Fox is just saying that's pretty close to the head. Tad lucky there.
Didn't really make an attempt there, Davis, to get away. His Drum and Heineman. Number 13, Heineman, is a very strong young lad. Takes some putting down. This is Beale, and Rehana just opened up momentarily there, and it's taken on, and Northampton all of a sudden in a really strong attacking position here. Ben Cohen has it, Tom Smith is with him. Phillips joins in. He used to be lying on the wrong side, but he couldn't get out. Now, was that a little tap forward from Robinson? In goes Quinnell. Referee holds out an arm, though, for the knock-on, but I just wonder whether earlier in the piece there was a knock-on from the Northampton scrum half. It was a close call.
But what a position this is for the Saints now. Tight games like this, you've got to do something here. Now, here's the incident. Well, it's sideways if you're generous.
Oh, it's a knock-on.
Steamy there. What a position this is. Beale on the short side.
Robinson takes it, and Robinson! Now that definitely has been knocked on twice, in fact. First by Robinson, then by Beale. Oh, and he'll curse that, because from that range he's deadly.
He was thinking, do I give it to Nick Beale? It's a nicely turned scrum. David Jones can't get there, but he does just in the nick of time. He can't stop Robinson first up, but it's the tackle that just dislodges the ball as that pass is about to go to Nick Beale for the try.
It's back off Jones, then Robinson pushing the ball forward, and then Beale making sure that it was spotted this time.
Well, just watch David Jones now. You think Robinson's away. Now the pass is about to go. It's the right hand dislodges that, and I think if Nick Beale picks that up, you know, it's gone backwards from Jones. That would have been a try. I think Nick Beale has missed it.
I thought Robinson touched it after Jones had touched it. I thought there was a knock-on from the Northampton scrum half.
Well, either way, you've got to give a lot of credit to David Jones there, Welsh international.
15 caps now for David Jones. You see there 3 starts in the recent World Cup. Meanwhile, Robin McBride is popping his head up there in the centre for the Scarlets of their front row. Back on after his blood injury. Off goes Alec Raval. And then it's taken from the base with such purpose. And the referee gives the Scarlets a penalty. Wasn't that excellent defensive work there?
Textbook stuff from a scrum, wasn't it? Scarlets front row just put the wheel where they wanted it. Quinnell carried into the midfield, set it back, and even if they didn't get the penalty, they put the angle there for Barry Davis. That was classy, clean rugby.
His brother now with Cardiff, Craig.
Well, we'll see him tomorrow. Cardiff travelling up to Sale.
And you'll see everybody on Sunday night in our highlight show. Remember, if you miss the live games all across the weekend, 8 o'clock on Sunday evenings, right the way through the competition, European Rugby Special. Peel. Rohana with Finau to look at. It's a terrifying sight when that man Celeste Finau is running at you. Legs like tree trunks.
Well, it's not often though Bruce Rohana takes his eyes off the ball. He does. And one has to give the utmost credit to Dwayne Peel. That was a lovely box kick again. Great hang time on it. Gave Finau all the encouragement he needed to chase that one. The carrot was there. Well, I wouldn't call him a donkey, but he carried.
Here he comes again. And he carries again. Little tap forward, which it was. Yes, Peel's having a complete game at scrum half. He's doing everything spot on.
Well, behind Quinnell, who's having a big game at the moment. The one area for both teams that's just a little disappointing is at the breakdown. There's a couple of knock-ons and it's just taken a bit of momentum out, but this could be a very good second half.
Free kick taken quickly and kicked by Drum. After the tap ball had been handed to him, couldn't go direct to touch from the free kick. So I mentioned the highlights on Sunday before all of them, all the live action. And look what's coming up. We've got the Leinster Lions. There's Biarritz in the game Stuart mentioned at Edgeley Park, Sale against Cardiff. Stade Francais Leicester 2, the highlights of that one tomorrow, extended highlights of that game, and then on Sunday we're in Scotland for Edinburgh Rugby against Toulouse, and then the English champions London Wasps against finalists last season Perpignan.
Fill your boots.
McBride. Peel. Well, that's the first thing he's done wrong, really. Too close to Cohen, who had far too much time, but he didn't really make the most of it.
Among his many qualities, I wouldn't say Ben Cohen is probably quite as good a striker of a ball as Uncle George was. Although he was a bit of a clogger, wasn't he, at full-back? So my old man tells me.
I think it's mightily unfair on a World Cup winner of the round ball variety. McBride taking his time, and it nearly cost. Almost a fatal delay. Wasn't what was planned to drift all the way through to the tail of the line-out. Scarlets still have it. The shield is provided, and then Quinnell. Important spell this just before half-time. The one try of the match separates the two teams. In this fierce contest as Jones goes high. And Beale, no change out of the full-back, Rehana. A short pass. Robinson to Dram. And look who's there, who's gone back to cover. It's Scott Quinnell. Will he have to play it? Well, he leaves it to the full-back, the man with the boot, Barry Davis. And that's a good kick from a man who's won cup finals with Llanelli, won the league. What about Europe? Can they take that final step to the final this season? Agonisingly close over the years.
It's going to be a tough group to get through. Agen have such a powerful pack. Llanelli need the home win today. It would be a bonus for Northampton, but Llanelli really need it.
When we talk about bonus, it could come down to a bonus point or two, which have been introduced into the competition this season. And there's Robinson being caught by John Davis, good wrap-around tackle. Adam Jones, cute play, got on the wrong side just in case it was coming back.
Away red tackler, stay red.
Dram. Crunch. Finding himself in the middle of the sandwich there. And a penalty to the Scarlets. Holding on. Northampton have a good record against Welsh sides. Won 6, lost 1. Fairly even in that department. And that's a good kick. Really good. In these vital seconds before the interval. And it's the Scarlets on the attack in them.
I say those stats are pretty impressive, aren't they, in terms of discipline? They haven't been given Shane Dram and Stephen Jones many goal-kicking opportunities.
Quicker throw from McBride that time, didn't hang around, and it's better for it. Stephen Jones just behind his man, Matthew Watkins, who started the half so well. Haven't seen too much of him in the last 15 minutes or so. A very dangerous customer, that has been proved. And here's Daffyd Jones, supported by Easterby. It's back with Peel. Referee says play on. Robinson entitled to come through. The ball was out, and he's strapping away with his opposite number. Stephen Jones now starts to move this side, the fly half, but they've left him out of the equation this time and given it straight to Watkins.
Stay on your feet, stay on.
Who's there to play scrum half? Mark Taylor realises he had to do the job. The man of the half, Quinnell to Barry Davis, back to Quinnell, who keeps on barging forward. Stayed away from the touchline as well. So it's still alive with Peel to Stephen Jones and then Simon Easterby. Impressive in the World Cup for Ireland. Back goes Stephen Jones, looking for the drop goal. McHugh gets himself underneath the posts, but it just misses. Good effort. Not quite good enough.
Just a bit too much of scoop in this. You can see he doesn't really get that right leg back a long way, and he just doesn't have the distance because of it.
Number 4 offside.
It's good defence from Northampton though, wasn't it? Llanelli went left to right, but they couldn't get across the gain line there. The Saints will be pleased with that.
Trapped by Barry Davis. They've fancied this tactic, haven't they, the Scarlets, right the way through the half? Well, both sides have. Back with Phil, another good piece of service from him to his fly half Jones, then taken on by Cooper the skipper. Darren Evans, haven't really seen him get away. He's very quick when he does. On the edge of that Northampton 22, but the ball is loose and they need to get hold of it again, and Peel kicks it away. Barry Davis is out of position, the fullback. He's receiving treatment, and that's why Easterby has to go back and play this role. Very aware, the open side. Takes his time, doesn't panic, gives it to Evans. He can't quite sneak down the touchline.
Barry Davis getting back to his feet and receiving a hearty round of applause, because he's had a pretty good game as well. I feel this one could just spark in the second half. There are not many points at the moment, but it's a red-blooded contest with a lot of skill.
And very little in it. But the Scarlets worth their lead. Just about right, isn't it, the score?
Not half time yet, Miles.
Hands off! Hands off!
Still the opportunity to add. Can anyone take it? Roy Hahn has got to take this, and it's a very good catch. Put the brakes on. Bill has a juggle. And Davis being made to work hard here. He's not 100% fit. But he pushed off his man and did really well. He was laboured in the run, but not in the handoff. Well played, the fullback. Powerful and strong. And now he tries the kick, but Mark Robinson is there. Drum. It's Quinnell who's going to have to make the catch. He lets it drop. But then gets a big roar as the number 8, the man of that first half, and the try scorer, Scott Quinnell, puts the ball out, and it's a try that has given the Scarlets a lead at half-time in a fascinating opener in the Heineken Cup.
It's going to be one of the toughest groups, this one, with Agen there, as we said. This one is on a knife edge. Llanelli need the win. They just about deserve the lead.
8-3 it is.
Tomorrow midday, Sky Sports 2. Start your weekend with a bang. Newcastle battling to reclaim lost ground. Liverpool fighting their way into contention. Brilliant goal! With one main...
Weekend's live rugby on Sky Sports. All this from the European Cup. Leinster against Biarritz, then Sale against Cardiff. Plus we'll have extended highlights of Stade Francais against Leicester tomorrow from 2:30 on Sky Sports 2. And our coverage continues on Sunday, a little earlier on air there, 12:30. First up, Edinburgh against Toulouse. That is followed by one of the clashes of the first weekend, London Wasps against Perpignan. 40 minutes gone, though, at Stradey Park, and Gareth Jenkins' Scarlets have the lead. Just 5 points in it, though. Still anyone's match. Llanelli have a proud European record at home. They want to keep up the good work. Let's see if they can as we rejoin Stuart and Miles.
Thanks, Simon. Terrific buzz around the ground at half-time. So much to debate after that first period, so much to enjoy as well, and at the moment it's their side with a 5-point lead. It's worth making the point as well about how the Scarlets and Llanelli have embraced the regional concept. There are 4 feeder clubs formalised by Gareth Jenkins: Carmarthen, Llandyfri, Narberth, and of course the old Llanelli RFC. As Northampton take the field for the second half.
But frankly, Miles, It's all well and good, and I know David Moffat has said yes, Llanelli has embraced it, but that's how it ever has been. Llanelli is West Walian rugby, and all those clubs always sent their players. Great Carmarthen players over the years, like Ray Gravel, have always ended up here at Straddy.
Yes, but it's the formal help that is available now, the funding, the academy route, which is in place here as well. It's more than just a sort of hand of friendship. It's a professional relationship, and that is what has been so positively received here. And of course, it always helps when the name stays the same. The Scarlets have been added, but at the moment it's Llanelli Scarlets. In time, I'm sure it will become the Scarlets. But Stuart Gallagher, the chief executive here, still feels that at this stage it's important to retain that heritage and that name, and of course those famous colours too. And there's a man that wants to lift this trophy more than most, and approaching the end of his playing days, Scott Quinnell, how he'd love to be a European Cup winner, and on the evidence of the first half, he'll be the man that leads them to it. You had to single out one individual. What a performance from Quinnell thus far.
But it's just 8-3, plenty of attacking opportunities, and we know the Saints are a very dangerous team. Big second half ahead.
Here is Quinnell, and he's lost the ball in that tackle, and Stephen Jones slices the kick. So that's a perfect start for the Northampton Saints.
Well, I thought the Scarlets got lucky there. Quinnell had the ball dislodged, but it went straight to Dwayne Peel, but then Stephen Jones really put in a pretty shoddy kick, and Saints have good position, good ball.
And Phillips to Richmond, and then Fox.
Hands away, Red.
Robinson. Oh, he's nearly gets it with his feet, so close. Gets the support, and they've got a chance to drive over here, Northampton.
Hands away, Red.
Mark Robinson, almost a try scorer again. Happened to him in the first half with the line calling him towards it. Just couldn't get back on his feet when it mattered.
They call him Sharky, but he snaked his way towards the line. Look at that low angle there through Davis and Peel, and he just can't get there. Desperate defence, but didn't the Scarlets do well to hold him up and turn the ball over?
And now it's Northampton turning the scrum around, and Scott Quinnell didn't hang around because there was the possibility of turnover ball there. And Jones with a big frame of Cohen in front of him. Now Nick Beale is lining up a long, outrageous drop goal, which he will want to forget. At least it doesn't go dead. That would have been a scrum back from where he kicked it. Now it's the 22 as the Scarlets touch it down.
Well, he's got a pair now, because the best drop goal of the Zurich Premiership was against Leicester from him, and that was the worst one of the current Heineken campaign.
That's a better kick from Stephen Jones in terms of the strike, but it's straight to drum, and it's tempting ball to run back for Northampton. Can they make anything of it? Ray Harner trying to slip the tackle. Miss Hyman, Tucker. And he gets the bird from the crowd because that's straight out. And this will be a Scarlets line out on halfway.
Tentative start to the second half. Errors from both teams. I think if one team could get on top in this line, could sway the balance of this game. It's so tight at the moment.
McBride to Easterby, down to Peel. Stephen Jones. Here comes Finau. Destructive.
Move away, tackler, Green. Stay.
Just managed to slow the ball down though, Northampton there. Scarlets look at the quick ball, didn't come back as quickly as they wanted, but there you can hear the wince of referee McHugh as Scott Quinnell barged into him. Like a bit of wind out the lungs.
Crouch and hold.
Another good position for the Scarlets. They've really mixed it up well at the scrum here. Quinnell and Peel being in charge. Barry Davis bottom right, plenty of pace.
Well, the scrum was set, and Peel. That's a clever kick from the scrum half. There's more of him. He's filled out, hasn't he? And he's looking the part in all aspects of his game.
Well, if you're going to give possession away, you're going to do it because you're making 40 metres and putting the opponents within 5 metres of their own line. That's a good territorial game. And now the pressure on Richmond.
With his own line in the corner of his eye, but it's good work from the hooker and also from John Phillips in the middle of that line out. A substitute in the 2000 final when Northampton became the European champions. Well caught by Gareth Evans. Who started that famous match against New Zealand in the World Cup. Peel to Jones. This is Watkins. And then Finau, bit of space to work in this time. Rehana makes the tackle. Managed to wrap himself around those giant legs. Oh, it's lost by Quinnell. A couple of spillages from Scott Quinnell at the start of this second half. Well, things can change, eh? Well, let's join our reporter on the touchline. As ever, it's Graham with the latest news.
Mars, I can just update you briefly on what the two coaches said to their two teams at half-time. Gareth Jenkins obviously has had his statisticians out in the first half. He says his team kicked the ball out of hand 23 times in the first half, and only 5 times did it go off the pitch. He said that's got to change. We've got to stop keeping Northampton in the game. From the Northampton point of view, Wayne Smith said his team need to retain the ball a lot better when they're in Llanelli territory, raise the pace, and expect to see Steve Thompson and Mark Connors on the pitch within the next 2 minutes. Miles, back to you.
They've got some heavyweights to bring on. Northampton, Thompson, the World Cup hooker, Mark Connors, World Cup in '99 with Australia. And there's Northampton doing a Quinnell, if you like, in the shape of their back row at the base of that scrum. Davis to Jones, had a look up and he saw some space. Stephen Jones, good awareness again. He just didn't put boot to ball straight away. He looked what was on. And there was Peel having a go. Back to Jones, and these knock-ons costing the Scarlets dear. Justin Thomas this time.
Well, the Scarlets pack going well in the tight, but in the loose, too many knock-ons. Just good from Stephen Jones, as you say, very aware of what's on. Fox in with a challenge, and then Peel on the dart.
Just has a glance here, doesn't he?
Yep. You think, well, I'm on the back foot, and then he realises he's got 10 metres, and he challenges the Northampton defence. And that's the first time in perhaps 15 minutes the Scarlets have really gone through them in the middle. And that's rather changed the tempo of the game. Northampton are starting to get them moving across, and they'll be pleased with that.
Head coach here, of course, Nigel Davis, the former Welsh international back. And he feels that they've been steadily growing within the Celtic League, the squad this season. Now with the World Cup players back, and they're 12 away from this club. A real chance to push on, perfectly timed for their Heineken Cup campaign. Certainly pushing on there at the scrum, really getting the power on, and Northampton doing well to rescue the situation. Drum has kicked away to Evans, not a good catch. Ball was swirling down to him, but he's lost it in the tackle.
Pass forward, guys.
A rather lame end to that defensive work from Gareth Evans. Now, it's time for the changes up front. Steve Thompson coming on, Mark Connors, who's been carrying an ankle injury. It's Morris, you can see going off. Also, Budgin coming on. There is Chris Budgin. Richmond for Thompson at hooker. Budgin's the prop, and Connors.
What number are you? You're off. You're off. You're off.
Is just checking who he's on for. The referee is just asking who's leaving the field, and it's John Phillips who's gone off.
Hold.
Well, this is a powerful scrum from the Scarlets. And of course the Saints have brought 3 men on in the tight 5 to try and remedy that situation. Left He just still looks slightly sharper in most areas, but they can't get away. Northampton's defence is being very, very impressive and resilient.
Blows getting caught there, but it doesn't matter because the Scarlets have failed to roll away after that tackle was made on Blowers. The Northampton number 8 has confirmation of all those changes. Connors for Phillips, Budgeon for Morris. And remember Thompson for Richmond.
Oh, that's a good kick from Shane Dram. That's a tremendous kick. Really went for it there. Now, Steve Thompson didn't have as good a World Cup individually as he would have liked. His line-out was under pressure. It's an old Achilles heel. It came back to haunt him. The Saints need him at his best now.
Well, he goes for the simple ball to the front, and Hunter. And now it's that Northampton 8. But it's again stolen by Llanelli.
By the Scarlet 8.
And Scott Quinnell, and a little touch there off Connors as Jones got the kick in, and the referee spotted that. So this will be a Scarlets throw in, and Scott Quinnell, well, what a power play from him tonight.
He's a behemoth, isn't he? That's fantastic. Talked about the Saints 8, Scarlet 8 took him on his own. And look at that, I mean, he knows how to win a turnover, doesn't he? And tonight, I don't know what the count is, but it's pretty high already. He's going to shoot way past that 7 from last season.
And that also proves the muscular power of Brian O'Driscoll, that caption. And of course, O'Driscoll, a Leinster Lion, and that's one of our live games tomorrow against Biarritz Olympique.
Well, you can see turnovers conceded. Northampton 3, I think counted 3 of them for Quinnell, but they just cannot get that extra score. And Northampton, as this game develops, will think we're really in this one. We're really in this one.
17, step.
Fit, tough, competitive.
McBride, the Lion of 2001. And he goes to Vernon Cooper, his captain. Peel. There's nearly some charge downs tonight, but nearly not good enough, is it? So here's Cohen. And then he presents the ball to Robinson. Blowers arise, but he can't control, and Fox snaffles it. This is Snout in there. Smith to Drum. Well, the idea was good, but the execution wasn't. And Barry Davis has managed to bang this ball back downfield. And look at it roll, on and on. In the end, Drum doesn't have to play it, but the crowd like it, because that has taken the Scarlets where they want to be.
That's an arrow of a left boot from Barry Davis, and that's hurt the Saints. It wasn't a good kick from Drum, you're right, the idea was good. Barry Davis, though, his kick was superb. Territory is becoming increasingly important in this game, you feel.
That would have been a great one to steal, but in the end, it's Northampton who have it. And Seeley did well, and so does Robinson here. That's terrific break from the scrum half. Live wire time again from Robinson. Fire required and fire delivered there from the number 9. Drum getting it downfield, but here's that man Davis again. Barry Davis, the fullback. This time he's having a run. Needs to be strong here in the tackle as Tucker and Thompson go in. Back with Peel. Stephen Jones wants to release his backs, gives it to Easterby. Finau.
Stay on, Green.
Watkins. Chance maybe to go wide here with Daffy Jones getting on to Mark Taylor. He bounced off Ben Cohen. Supported by Daffy Jones.
Hands away, Green.
Stephen Jones. Working their way back inside through Davis, and then Quinnell, and then McBride. Throwing everything at Northampton here, the Scarlets. Stephen Jones to Watkins, nearly breaking through its building, and they just couldn't take it on again. And not for the first time in this second half. The Scarlets let down by their handling when it really mattered, when the move was bubbling. And that's exactly what's happening in this ground now to the atmosphere, bubbling up to quite a finish.
Barry Davies is having a very good game, isn't he? Lovely run in there. Quite wiry, but he's strong. And Quinnell with that inside ball off the right hand. Big thundering tackle. Northampton's defence keeping him in this game at the moment. But once again, you think Watkins is going to unload. It's a lovely angle, but Easterby just takes his eye off the ball. They're stretching the Saints, but they can't quite snap that defensive line.
Said right at the start of the match, he's the only player in the starting 15 for the Scarlets who hasn't won a cap. Wales A, but not a full international yet, but on the evidence of this season,
Number 10.
and again tonight, it won't be long.
Wait, your own half has been substituted, guys.
Now Drum's coming off to be replaced by Paul Grayson, another England World Cup squad man.
Wait. No, wait, guys, wait.
What was it, 11 conversions against Uruguay?
No, hang on.
Very composed game, but I think England, Uruguay, and the Scarlets, Northampton are two very different kettles of fish.
That scrum is sizzling. Robinson to Beale.
Inside, foot on the line.
He can kick the ball an awful long way. Evans to Davis. So can he.
Stand right.
But it's with Grayson. It's his touch. He's good to feel the ball, and Beale chasing his own kick here. The Gary Owen taken by Gareth Evans, who sets off, and he can fly. Gareth Evans going. This is wonderful running from the winger. And this is all about the timing on the pass to Watkins. It was good, and Watkins kicks on, and now it could be anybody's unless Northampton are brave, which they are, because the boots are about to fly in. And they got down where it hurts, but of course, it's Llanelli going forward here. And they've managed to get the put into this scrum, and Evans inspired.
A moment of magic there from the right wing. Beale's kicked too long, and look at the change of pace there. Connors can't keep up with him. It's a well-timed pass, and the kick's very, very smart there from Watkins. Kept it in play, and Scarlets drive for the line. Seminal moment in this game.
It's one of those moments, you can feel it. Picked up by Quinnell.
Hands away.
In goes Finau to help with his forwards. The frustrated forward. Thomas, almost that juggle again. And Stephen Jones, there you can see, just slapping his thighs and saying, come on, we've got to hold this together in that final furlong.
They got a position there, and Thomas will be so disappointed with himself there. In the furnace.
Thank you. Let's come in straight. Hands off me.
Something satanic in there, Miles. Something satanic.
Crouch and hold. Engage.
Penalty against the Llanelli Scarlets front row.
It's not the first time
I've asked you to come in
that
straight.
Northampton have been given a very easy get-out.
Don't come in like that again.
That's a bad minute for Justin Thomas. First the knock-on, then the penalty conceded.
Thank you. No, step back. It's on the 5. Thanks.
Really had a chance there, the home side, to crank it up and raise the volume. It's not a convincing kick, is it, from Grayson? Strangely conservative there.
Definitely. I mean, the Scarlets are in the ascendancy here, but they just can't come through with that final effort. And you feel in a game this tight, you know, a score now will really force Northampton to chase the game and open it up. And maybe with the pace the Scarlets have behind, that's what they want. Maybe.
Tough group. Ajon on the borders, the other side. And this is the ball that they wanted. Thompson couldn't hit his man. Stephen Jones to Mark Taylor. Wow, Blowers and Fox, but the major man there was Blowers, and now there's a chance for Northampton to strike on the counter-attack as Hyman gets it on to Cohen. Cohen is well tackled by Gareth Evans. In goes Robinson, and the referee eventually gives the knock forward. The home supporters feel they should have got more here.
Well, here's more coming at Mark Taylor. Fox, but predominantly the man you can't see, Andrew Blowers. Influential battle between those number 8s tonight.
Claims were for a penalty on the Scarlets side, but the referee giving the penalty to Northampton, but now they have the penalty. And having just conceded one at the scrum, the Scarlets put the pressure on to get one. Work that one out.
We enter the realm of tit for tat, that well-known front row penalty rule. Steve Thompson not had the most auspicious start to the game since he's come on. Missed a line out, just been penalised. Big kick here for Stephen Jones. Has not convinced from the floor tonight thus far, but this really is important.
It was 8-3 at half-time. It's still 8-3 for the first points of this second half. Stephen Jones knew straight away. He's back in his own half. He knew he'd given it enough. Scarlets increase their lead. 11 points to 3. And remember, the Saints at this stage not within bonus point range. They have to factor that into the matches this season. Could prove to be critical in the final analysis at the end of the pool stages.
Smart kick-off from Grayson.
Grayson again. Evans. Barry Davis. His angle was changed by the looming Northampton player, so he didn't risk anything.
A little bit disappointed with himself there, but he's had a solid game, you know. Everything that's been thrown at him, he's handled very well.
He really has to have it on the left foot, and that was his problem, but there's a great contest again at that line out. And it's the Scarlets who have the nugget in their possession. Peel with Evans chasing. Up goes Cohen. Oh, he's missed the catch. Fox is caught by Stephen Jones. Referee holding out his arm, now going for a blow on the whistle because it's a penalty for holding on to the ball. A very similar position to Stephen Jones' recent penalty. He'll feel good about this one.
Cohen doesn't take this, gets in a bad position, but it's all because it is a really excellent kick from Dwayne Peel. He's got no time, he's got no angle. His box kicking has been excellent today. He's battling with Gareth Cooper for the Welsh number 9 jersey, and he's having a cracker tonight. Basics so good. Your pack just say, if you're going to hang it up there, give us a chance. He's given him every chance.
And worth saying again, he's still only 21. Here's Stephen Jones. Oh, it was a horrible one from him. Strange. Should have been feeling good about that, having just landed a penalty from virtually the same spot. And a 50% record is simply not good enough for him. Adam Jones climbing and soaring and taking. Scott Quiddell saying, give it to me. And nobody has been arguing with him. But it's Northampton in there ripping this time. It has been a rich contest up front. Had so much, this battle between the two sets of forwards. They have been slugging this out. As Northampton are getting the throw in.
It's their ball. Yeah, we'll knock it on. It's their ball.
But I'm not so sure. So what's happened in tonight's other match between the Celtic Warriors and Kelvisona? Well, there's the confirmation of a Warriors win in Pool 6. London Wasps and Perpignan will be taking note of that. Of course, they play on Sunday. And the Warriors get a bonus point for scoring 4 tries.
You feel they need to tighten up their defence before they meet Wasps and Perpignan. Defence no problem in this game, though.
Well, here's singing to take you back to your childhood.
That's taken me back some way. It's a great rugby arena, isn't it? Pressure will come on Steve Thompson again now.
I said to stand, guys. Step it, please.
Scarlet fan have nothing more than an Englishman with a heat on him. That's a good throw.
Tucker. I haven't seen too much of Tucker tonight. Or Heineken is centre partner. Lowe's going in over the top there to make sure it comes back to his fellow New Zealander Robinson, and then Grayson's long pass to Cohen. Northampton needs something soon. The clock will start to be against them in a very short while. As soon as you enter that final 10 minutes, the panic start to emerge. Especially in such a close contest where points have been hard to come by. Here's Beale. He'll show the ball first to work his way through. Then he takes it off Connors.
Move away, hands away.
The Scarlets looking comfortable in defence. He's snuffing out everything thus far in this attack. Making a gradual gain here, Northampton. Now can they strike? With Tucker again. Robinson. Rehana. No sympathy in that pass. It's been knocked on. Referee plays advantage, but not now, as Hyman is called back.
On the half, guys. It's a big one.
He produces a lot for Northampton, but he couldn't save that one. It's a shocking pass from Bruce Rehana straight into the face of Andrew Blowers. The Kiwi axis all over the place there. It's unusual, isn't it, because Bruce Rehana is such a good footballer. And that's disappointing end for Northampton, because it's first time for a while they've really put together a sustained period of attacking play. But as you say, the Scarlets look pretty comfortable.
Worth just running through the other games for you live this weekend on Sky Sports during this break in play. We're in Dublin, Stockport, and Paris on Saturday. That Stade Francais Leicester Tigers game, extended highlights, the other two live. And then on Sunday, Edinburgh and Wickham. Can't wait to see your expenses.
Let's get it. Crouch and hold. Crouch and hold.
Referee's been in control, as ever, David McHugh. Strong character.
Hang on. Okay, guys. Right, this is. No, hang on. Go on, John. Oh, stay down. Crouch and hold. Crouch and hold. And engage.
Controlled by Quinnell. Then the pass to Peel. Beale. And Quinnell, who has covered every blade tonight. Finau. That's an absolute flopper to Cohen, who chips over the top. He'll look to collect this himself, Ben Cohen, and just misses out. They put themselves in trouble there, the Scarlets. Poor kick. Taylor takes it away. And Stephen Jones, now he is the man to kick. Beale. Thompson's in the left wing position. Beale doesn't want to risk it on the touchline. He wants to retain this ball now. Northampton requiring 2 scores. Budgeon. Jones staying on his feet, the ball was coming out. Now he's off his feet, can't play it. Doesn't. Good play. Cohen, Rehana, and then Heineken, plenty of beef. Really is a basher at times, Heineken, but couldn't bash all the way through there. Cohen to Rehana, Tucker, talking of bashers, Finau. Well, that's what he does do well, the physical. They try the blind side, and they get it off to Rehana. Bruce Rehana. And Barry Davis slapped the ball out.
It's in 15. It's a penalty.
Penalty in 15 metres. Rehana was putting the pressure on. They need 2 scores.
Well, that's an interesting call. I mean, that is a try-scoring situation. That slap deliberately out. There has to be a case there for a yellow card. That's what the card was there for. Clever play on the short side. I say Robinson has been the pick of the Northampton players. Here's Rehana with a chip. Now, if that's not a yellow card, what is? Tell me.
Professional foul. Davis lucky to be on the field then. And would have been the final 10 minutes. Just about. And the Llanelli Scarlets would have been down to 14. Barry Davis, a lucky man. It was a clear slap out. The referee was right to give the penalty. And Stewart was right to say yellow card.
It should have been a yellow card. I mean, so close to the try line. That was originally why the yellow card was brought into play. Look at that. Left hand comes out. He knows that's illegal. He knows that's a try that has been saved by cheating. Should have been a yellow card.
After a long debate, Paul Grayson went for the kick, and that is why, to get the 3 points. To put the Saints back within range of, first of all, a bonus point, but also winning this match. You feel it's there for the Scarlets to close out. They just can't do it.
But having said that, you know, in the second half, Robinson was held up on the line. Rehana was almost away there. Northampton have made chances, but they just haven't had enough of the ball. This isn't over yet.
Yes, they've had their chances right the way through the game. Robinson in the first half too. And he had the man outside. He could have gone himself. It didn't work in the end, and it's been a night of near misses for Northampton. Not too many of them, but some high-quality chances. This is good from their pack.
Stay on side, sir.
Robinson is the man who has to pick the time to release. He gets it to Grayson, who has wellied this. That's gone a country mile. Evans, it's awkward for the fullback, and Davis found the gap between Tucker and Cohen, and has a little word with his winger there. And it may not have been too polite.
Well, that is a brilliant kick from Paul Grayson. He has drilled that with a fantastic spiral, and Tucker and Cohen sprinted up on Evans and Davis, who have looked assured all night, and that's a pretty good kick. He threaded that one through a closing gap, but a position here.
Taken by McBride. Thompson gets a boot in, but that is a penalty. Throws the ball away, but the touch judge on this near side had a good view of that and signalled to referee McHugh.
And one's got to say, Thompson's line out again is really vulnerable at the moment. He's gone to 2 there, and Vernon Cooper has still got the better of him. Barry Davis has a slightly easier clearance kick this time.
And looking at that replay, the one we saw on Evans and Davis combining as the back 2 there, it's probably the right decision, wasn't it, to give it to the fullback? It was risky though, because the angle that Evans had was not a great one, and Northampton would have been that much closer to the line. It's worked out for the Scarlets. They lived on the edge there.
Good ball to Easterby.
And they're living on the edge. And the scoreboard, just 5 points between the teams. Sole try of the night, scored by Quinnell. This is Taylor.
Release, Tucker.
Scott Quinnell. And then joining in again. Peel. Stephen Jones to Easterby. Haven't really seen him run with the ball in hand, which is very effective, of course. Peel. Quinnell again to Evans. Little offload, just keeping it tight, bashing through, using the big men. Justin Thomas that time. Peel goes for the kick. Oh, that's accomplished play all round by the team.
Playing the territory game at the moment. A little bit close to touch for Dwayne Peel's liking, but he got away with it. It's Quinnell putting width on it. And quite rightly, Easterby straightens it up, and then Peel just says an end to this. Let's ask Northampton to play from 70 metres.
That's what they're doing, is saying to Northampton, go on, you've got to go and try and win this match now. It's over to you. And of course, when there's that kind of pressure on, mistakes start to creep in. Can have to be put in.
Just exercising a bit of a squeeze at the moment. Northampton really struggling on their own line-out, aren't they?
Are you okay or not? Huh?
Of course, the director of rugby at the Scarlets, Gareth Jenkins, heavily linked with the Welsh national job, which will come up after the Six Nations. That's what's been happening at the line-out. Your interpretation on that?
Well, they made the big call, didn't they? They brought the England hooker on, and since he's come on, they have really struggled, and most of those loss in the Northampton column have happened in the last 20 minutes or so. And I must say, you know, in the World Cup final, I was in the stand watching it, and I was amazed Dorian West didn't come on, because England just needed to control ball. Northampton need ball. They're not getting it from that set-piece area.
Third day of a World Cup final, of course, for Northampton. They've had a Heineken European Cup final. There's no doubt a win away from home at the Scarlets would have been a real bonus, but in such a tight group, they will be heavily disappointed here if they lose. Held in by Daffy Jones. Back to Peel, to Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones again from Watkins' pass. Watkins wants to get there to help him out, so does Finau. Driven on and driven forward. And a penalty smack in front of the posts.
Seven's coming inside.
And they feel it's time to apply the killer touch. Jones will take all the available time, the full minute. No need to rush this one.
Well, this is a big kick, isn't it? Because not only should it wrap up the victory for the Scarlets, but at the moment that takes Northampton into the realm of 0 points.
So Jones with the 3 points that almost takes the Scarlets away. And the bonus point could be crucial to Northampton. Can they work it?
It's that little chipper again from Grayson, but Easterby takes that well.
Commanding play from Easterby there at the restart. Peel, Davis, and a fine game of full-back until he puts the ball out in the full to allow Northampton a possible route back here. And as the players trot over to this line-out, you've got time for your Heineken man of the match.
2 errors in the second half, but overall it's been a performance of belligerent beauty from Scott Quinnell. He's a lovely ball handler, but he's a brute going forward. His defensive work, excellent. And he's the man with the try that's made all the difference. Dwayne Peel has been excellent at 9, but Scott Quinnell, he has led from the front, middle and back. Here's the try, it came from the Peel break, and Quinnell uses his bolt to burrow over. They look to that man to give them the lead here in Llanelli, and he invariably does when it matters most.
That body is taking a battering over the years.
It's battered a few as well, mate.
It has, but you just wonder how many games, big games, that Scott Quinnell has got left. We made the point earlier in the match. It is amazing how he keeps on doing it. Here's Smith. There's a fellow line with Quinnell. And blowers. And it's still not out of this Northampton, as Seeley took it on, and then it's the big drive through the middle, asking Robinson to release the backs. It's been knocked forward by Llanelli Scarlets, so advantage. They'll take the scrum.
Because your props come in the side. It's just a knock on. He was on his feet, he knocked it out of the scrum half's hands.
The referee explains that a penalty offence had then followed, so it's back for the original offence, which was the knock on, as Peel and Thompson square up. Thompson with a big smile, but it's not a winning smile at the moment. His side have got to dig deep here and find 2 scores.
Well, what his side must do, yeah, I don't think they're going to have time to win this game. Although with a bit of injury time, if they could go over for a try from here, they'd be in with a sniff. But if they get anything from here, you know, a bonus point is going to be tight. We've said it before, Agen fancy themselves. Llanelli could be the strongest of the Welsh regions. Away bonus points are crucial. At the moment, it's almost as important for the Scarlets not just to win this game, but to deprive the Saints of a point. Big scrum, big play.
Big scrum, and a man who can't take part is Tom Smith, who is sadly being helped off the field. All 5 starts for Scotland in the Rugby World Cup. Tried famously against Fiji. Saving moment for Scotland. Smith is off. And it's Llanelli with the ball. Staggering, and Jones gets it away. And that's where the Scarlets have won the match. They've won it up front.
What time to nick one against the head. That will be a hammer blow. And I tell you what, Steve Thompson has had a rotten time since he's come on. What an indignity.
Well, he's hurting there, but he's given a good long ball to Robinson, who was then crunched. And Northampton are looking at sort of last chance saloon here, really, to salvage something out of this match. Easterby tries to stand firm, so does McBride. Robinson wonders why the ball is not coming back. It's because Llanelli again are getting their hands on it at the breakdown, but that time illegally. And Northampton have a penalty, and they have a call to make here, but because of course 3 points takes them to the bonus point situation, and also they need the 2 scores anyway. Grayson has to go to the post, and he does.
It's receiving the jeers here, but that is the right decision. With the rules as they are, bonus point will be useful for Northampton. They came here looking for a win. They were up for this one. They've been outplayed, even though it's tight for large parts of this game. But right now, if they could come away with anything, that would be a real bonus.
And Paul Grayson makes, not for the first time in his career, a kick look ridiculously easy. There was a lot riding on that kick, and it's still not over. We have time to play here.
Well, exactly, and that's why they didn't need to go for the corner, because even a 7-pointer would have left them still needing a score of sorts. They're within 5, a converted try, and they pull off a very unlikely victory.
These will be nervous times for the Scarlets as they go long at the restart. Stephen Jones taking it, Ray Harner running it back. Can Northampton come up with something really dramatic here? Grayson looks for position, and in position is Barry Davis. And he goes high with his kick. and he's going to challenge. And it's been knocked on, and it's advantage, and it's Peel, and that's an offside, and that is a penalty, and that should be game, set and match.
But it's the subplot. Stephen Jones will want 3 points here, because this will deprive Northampton of what they thought was what could be the invaluable point that Grayson had just kicked him. Jones has not kicked well from ground this evening, but this will hurt Northampton and Grayson if it goes over.
Well, it's Jones' spot. He's getting familiar with that little patch of grass.
There's no doubt that the Scarlets have deserved the win. They've looked sharper, they've looked hungrier up front, and they've looked a little bit quicker behind. Northampton's defence has been excellent, Mark Robinson's been good, but there's no doubt, I think Llanelli deserve more than a 5-point lead tonight.
Time to close it out though with Stephen Jones, and he's just short. And that could prove to be costly in the final analysis at the end of the group stage, but they risked it there to go for the restart try. Doesn't matter in terms of the victory, because the Scarlets have won again at Stradey. And Scott Quinnell, what a mountainous performance from him. They are so difficult to beat here. History proves it, not just in this competition, but going back many a year. And the Llanelli Scarlets, the new regional side, the side that most neutral observers are picking as Wales' best chance of lifting the trophy this season, take their first step on their way to what they hope will be a Heineken Cup final. They failed at the semi-final stage twice before. Is this their year? Well, there was certainly plenty of steel and metal in that performance, and it was typified by Quinnell, but he was backed up so well all round.
Yeah, there's no doubt at all. Llanelli started very well. They got a little bit tentative. They probably will go away and say there's an awful lot to work on, but the key in the first game in Europe is getting that win. They could have done with Northampton getting nothing, but Scarlets will settle for the victory. Northampton, they have some consolation, but they were blanked on the try-scoring level. They know that this is a tough group. Llanelli, they'll be pretty pleased with their start. They've got the win they needed, Miles.
Well, the score from Scott Quinnell in the first half felt crucial at the time, and in the end it proved to be exactly that, as the Northampton say well done to the Scarlets, who they will meet again at Franklin's Gardens later in the competition. Let's join Graham.
Miles, thank you very much indeed. Stephen Jones, many congratulations. Delighted with the winner, I'm sure, but maybe a touch relieved. Thank you very much. Maybe a touch relieved as well?
Yeah, you know, we're delighted to get the victory. It was a pretty nervous performance from the Scarlets tonight. We spilled a lot of ball. There wasn't much continuity in our game, and I think we as kickers got a lot of work to do next week.
Talking about that last kick, you're about 6 inches short of depriving them of a bonus point. Will that stick in the craw a bit this evening?
Yeah, it's been, obviously it's disappointing to give them a bonus point, but we're just delighted to win the game, really.
How hard a match was it? Was it as tough as you thought it would be?
Oh yeah, very much so. They're a great team, and they got the World Cup champions in this side, so we're delighted.
What about this season from Llanelli's point of view? We know all about the heartbreak of the past few years. How well prepared do you think this Llanelli team is to go the whole way?
I think we've got a slightly stronger squad, and obviously there's more experience there, but it's a great competition, and there's a lot of great teams, but we've got to win tonight, and that's what counted.
Well done to you, Stephen Jones. Well
Cheers.
So, Llanelli up and running in this season's Heineken Cup, and a reminder that the busy weekend of rugby continues tomorrow on Sky Sport. Full time though at Stradey Park, by no means a classic, but Llanelli coming out ahead. Neither side looked on top of their game, but it won't matter to Gareth Jenkins. His side pinched the points, 14-9, the final score. It won't matter either to the man of the match, Scott Quinnell. He's talking to Graham.
Simon, thank you very much indeed. Scott Quinnell, was that a little tighter a squeak than you'd liked it to be?
It was a touch. It was a time that he thought it could have gone, against us, but we hung on in the end. It wasn't a great performance, but one thing we went out to do was get the points, and we can do that. We can work on the performance, but we can't get the points back.
You had a lot of territory, didn't you? But there were a fair few cock-ups when you were down their end. How frustrating was it getting out on the pitch?
Yeah, I haven't heard those technical terms before, but obviously it was difficult. We put the ball into their half, but we didn't put it into touch. We wanted to pressurise them by putting it into touch, but it didn't work that way. So it allowed them to come back at us, and we made things difficult for ourselves today. But like you said, we come away with a win. We can be pleased with that, but we can work then again on the performance.
The difference in the score obviously was your try, your 5-pointer, your momentous 20, 30, 40 yards. How far was it? Talk us through it. It's down here. Have a look.
One try like the other, but it was the same try line in the end, I think. But,
talk us through it. Here it comes down here.
Yeah,
nice break from Dwayne Peel before it, I think.
It was fantastic. The boys got us in a great area, and they just left a little gap there. We tried to come over, and there you go. Oh, it must have been a good half a yard.
You're actually standing in the in-goal area when you picked it up by the look of it, weren't you?
I can't say, it's just too far for me to run if there's any further.
Home games in this competition, Scott, as you well know, are must-win games. How much pressure were you and the guys feeling coming into this game, knowing that you really had to win it?
We said, 2 years ago, we lost here to Gloucester, and we put ourselves on the back foot. We went to Kingsholm in the last game with pressure on ourselves where we could have snuck a victory. But now, it was vital that we got to win, any type of win, and we did that tonight. And now we can go away, we can reflect on this game, and look forward to Borders next week, knowing that, we've got the points in the bag.
Stuart Barnes up in the commentary box in giving you the Man of the Match award described you thus. Can I quote this to you? Yeah. A thing of boisterous beauty. Oh, beauty I'm not so sure about. We'll talk about that later, mate. But boisterous.
Yeah. Many red wines again, but...
How do you keep doing it at your age, though, Scott?
I'm only 31. I'm not that old, not the oldest boy on the block, but I just enjoy it. It's a great atmosphere. A packed Stradey Park. There's a great atmosphere down here, and it's it's a great region to play for.
Apologies for prematurely aging you. In compensation, here we are. Heineken Man of the Match. You know what that's for, don't you?
I might find something to do with that. Thank you very much.
Well done. Thanks for coming in. Well played, Tony.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Better not fill it with too much, because he's in the studio with us tomorrow. But 31, but looking very much on top of his game.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player, especially in a tight game like that, where there's not a lot happening anywhere else. Scott's in the middle of things. He's making those hard yards, and he's also picking up the crucial try.
Llanelli, did they look nervous tonight? Do you think they're a bit of a scrappy game?
Yeah, I think Stephen Jones summed it up there. He said it was a tense and nervous affair, and it was. I mean, they had enough sort of momentum and ball and seniority out there to win that game by half-time. But, to Northampton's credit, they hung on. A few tactical errors I felt that they could have played a little bit more down in the Llanelli territory. It just didn't happen.
Should the Scarlets have closed it out earlier, Dowie?
I think so. I think they had the power. They had certain decisions in that in the scrum I was scratching my head about, because they did have the power in the scrum area. The line out, they missed Wyatt when he went off for that injury, unfortunately, but they scrapped it. But unfortunately, forcing a few passes, the ball went down. They did have the territory, but they'll be happy. As Scott said, they've got the points. You can't get them back. They can work on things, so, they'll be happy with that.
OK, let's get another word from the Scarlets. Their director of rugby, Gareth Jenkins, is with Graham.
Gareth Jenkins, have you breathed out yet?
It was a bit tense in the end. Not the most comfortable last 50 minutes of experience, I've got to admit.
How much of the game plan did your team actually get through tonight? How many of their patterns did they impose on the game?
Not as many as we'd like to. I think where it started to go wrong was the fact that we didn't deal very well with the kicking game and the kicking of the hand game. Our players are saying that they were really pissed off with the ball, and it had a detrimental effect really on the way we didn't manage our kicking game. We kicked the ball 42 times, and I think we got it off the park 11, and that kept them in the game. And we're pretty disappointed with ourselves. As much as we've won this game, I think there was more in it for us.
You were saying there about the ball. I mean, what's wrong with the ball? What's the problem with it? It's a new one, isn't it? What's the problem with it?
Well, it's a new ball, and it doesn't fly. It hasn't got this ability to carry itself through. It dies in the air, and it felt like that as far as I was concerned watching the game. There was no balls just going off the park, and it's a bit unusual because our two kickers, Barry Davis and Stephen Jones, have usually got plenty of length on their ball, but on their kicks, but it didn't work out for us tonight.
Did you feel your team could have done with a tad more composure when they got down towards the green zone at the Northampton end?
Absolutely, and credit to Northampton. They came here with a great defence and they put us under pressure, and we weren't able to build the phases and keep the ball. You know, turnover was expensive for us. In the tackle area, they turned us and knocked us on maybe six times, and credit to them for that. But we're pretty frustrated really, because we did get to the killer zone and we haven't killed it.
Irritated too, maybe, that you didn't deprive them of the bonus point?
Well,
they're going to be tight, aren't they, in these group matches this season?
Absolutely, and they've got something out of this game tonight. You know, they're going away, they're going home with something. They're going home with a point, and I think that they were aware of that. They recognised with a couple of minutes to go that the important thing really was to take points home, and they've done it. And credit to them for that.
In terms of the campaign as a whole, Gareth, how well prepared do you think the they are to go one stage further than they've ever been before?
I think we've got a game that we can improve on. I think there's more in us than you've seen tonight. I was happy with our scrum. Our line-out, particularly in the second half, having lost Wyatt, put a lot of pressure on the Northampton line-out, and that suggests to me that we can create pressure for opposition teams. But a little disappointed, really, that we didn't impose ourselves more in this game than I felt as if we should have.
Thanks for your time now. Good luck with the Borders next week.
Thanks very much.
Nice to meet you again.